G'day folks, welcome back to the channel for the next part in our learning videography series. And if this is the first time you've clicked on the big fella, make sure to subscribe and keep the notifications turned on. And today we're going to be looking at the Volkwell backdrop. This is a kit that I bought as usual off eBay. What's new there? Now, because I've recorded these videos a little bit out of sequence, I kind of have to take you a little bit back in time, maybe about 2 months. So you're about to see an earlier version of me back in my home. And I'll just apologize in advance for the recording, because basically I'm standing in a rather open area with no walls around and no echo pads to stop the noise reverberating. So it sounds like I'm in a very big hall, so sorry about that. I'm going to do something a little bit different with my setup here. So what you see behind me is basically a blank canvas. It's going to become even more blank, if that's a thing. What I've got right now is my old camcorder, my JVC Everio GZ HM870. My God, what a mouthful. And yeah, I decided to use that to kind of set up a bit of a time lapse and get my set going. So there it is behind me. Not much of a set right now, but we'll see exactly what's what. It's apparently 1.6 meters by 3 meters. So, well, it worked pretty well in my mind when I thought about how it was all going to go, but we'll see. Okay, so here it is, the Volkwell backdrop kit that I just set up, and fairly easy to set up, I might say. It's just basically 2 big vertical stands and 3 interlocking different little poles that kind of just snap together. And the only thing I've got to really bark about here is the fact that when you've got these pieces of cloth, okay, that you use as a backdrop. Now, if you don't have an iron, then yeah, you're kind of screwed, because it looks like you're going to be lighting up against a textured brick type of backdrop, and it doesn't really look all that smooth. So that's really all I have to whinge about. Besides that, the weight of the stands themselves, that's something I really call into question, because they're not all that heavy. And when they're not heavy, they don't have a good deal of balance. And if they're put off kilter, they can just fall really easily. I mean, all they have to do is just breathe heavily, and they kind of feel like that they want to fall over. That's kind of how light they are, and that's what you get when you get alloy pieces for your backdrop. The reason why I got this backdrop to start with was I could have got any number of different variants of backdrop from this eBay seller. But what I chose was this one because it had the grey backdrop. Now the other ones you could get, they're all the same texture, just different colours. So you got your white, your black and your green for your green screen type of effect. But I chose this one pretty much because grey is fairly neutral, and it was the only one that I could find that actually had grey in that colour set. So overall, it's not too bad for a beginner type of setup. It does the job, and basically what I can do with these is put these on top of the tubs that I've got here as a cheap display table, and let them kind of drape over that. So depending on what I'm going to show, it can go black or white. I doubt I'll use the green because I don't really have anything to green screen. So black or white will probably be my choice there. I think that's about it. Price, reasonably good. I think I paid just under $80 Australian. A downside of this is if you don't have a good enough space to be able to set it up, if you don't have the width, say about maybe 2.5 meters to spare, then you probably have to go outside and do it. It's not really an ideal situation, but even in my small little granny flat here, basically I've got only just enough room to kind of set this up. A little bit taxing on the space, but you can make it a temporary thing or you can make it a permanent thing, so it depends, it's all up to you. Value for money, bang for buck, probably not too bad. I'm also going to set up my softbox, see how it actually displays things. This kit I bought to display products, and if you've seen other parts of my videos in this series, then you'll have already seen this being used. Some of the pros: it's a reasonably quick setup and a reasonably fast teardown as well. The snap lock bar section comes in 3 pieces, which is a definite plus. Clips to hold up the cloth for the backdrop, a little rudimentary but good enough for the job. And the whole setup is big, yet small enough to be able to fit in one smallish space, occupying about 2 or 2.5 meters by 1 meter total area. Now the cons, I'm going to bring this up yet again, as I've done in past videos. The stands, because they're made of aluminium alloy, they're not all that stable, and the higher you put them up, the more unstable they become because there's just no weight behind them. So once again, you kind of have to use sandbags to stabilize the base of them. The cloth has a bit of an odd feel to it. It feels a little bit grimy to the touch. I'm not sure if it just needs to be washed or whatever, but it doesn't feel all that good. But it definitely needs to be ironed out to become wrinkle free. Otherwise it looks like you're shooting against Besser blocks. So once you've ironed them out, basically you'll have to fold it all up again. Just don't fold it up too tightly, otherwise you'll get those wrinkles back in there. So as you can see, there's nothing really all that special about a backdrop. It's just designed to work as a backdrop. And as you saw, you can also change over the colors of the cloth. I chose the kit for the grey color, and that is the most neutral color to shoot against for a backdrop. Setup time is not all that long. If you know what you're doing and you can put it all together in a reasonably quick time, then it should take under 3 minutes. So once again, that's all I have for now, guys. Thanks very much for watching if you've got this far, and I'll have more content coming out next Friday. So until then, this is the big fella. Have a good one.